if you have been a little uncertain about your future, if you have been praying about making a decision or trying to figure out what you want to do next, this is a conversation and a topic that I think you need to really tune up your ears to and listen to, because we're going to be giving some great pointers about this topic. You ready to dive into it?
I'm ready to go.
All right, so the first question I want to ask you is, why do you think people struggle with uncertainty about the future?
Well, there's several reasons. I'll give you two.
Okay.
I think people struggle, and see, we're talking about the future and what's next and not knowing what's next. I think it's a misunderstanding of faith.
Yeah. Welcome to the How to Win podcast. I have the lovely Mike Moore here with me on the podcast. And in today, we're going to be talking about, what does faith look like when you don't know what to do next? So if you have been a little uncertain about your future, if you have been praying about making a decision or trying to figure out what you want to do next, this is a conversation and a topic that I think you need to really tune up your ears to and listen to, because we're going to be giving some great pointers about this topic. You ready to dive into it?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
All right, so the first question I want to ask you is, why do you think people struggle with uncertainty about the future?
Well, there's several reasons. I'll give you two.
Okay.
I think people struggle, and see, we're talking about the future and what's next and not knowing what's next. I think it's a misunderstanding of faith.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think it is a desire for control.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like...
Because you want to know the outcome of everything.
Yeah. When I say a misunderstanding of faith, faith is just that. You don't know all the details of the future. If you knew all the details of the future, you wouldn't need faith.
Right.
And then control is, I think it's just human to want to control everything in my life, because if in my mind, in our mind, we thinking if I can control everything, it'll keep me safe.
Yeah. I think one of the areas too, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, is the area of, we just don't like when things feel quiet, or God feels silent, or we feel like we're not getting in a direction. Because you've said several times on the podcast that God is giving you words, but he ain't giving you the next step to do. So you just do the first step that he told you to do, or the word that he told you to do, or you move and then he kind of directs you in those moments. But why do you feel that what is a cause for when people feel really discouraged during those moments where everything feels quiet?
Because we like noise. And it's interesting, we try to relate to God like we try to relate to other humans. And I think that God always gives us the next step.
Yeah.
But he just don't give us the whole thing. For example, the scripture says, I think it's Psalms 119, he says, thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. It's like walking out on the beach shore at night with a flashlight.
Yeah.
That flashlight ain't gonna show you the whole sandy area, the whole path like daylight would. But it'll show you enough to take the next steps.
Yeah. I think one of the areas that that it is helping me in my personal journey of really just trusting God, because I think you get used to, or just in my personality, I like to kind of create things, go in different directions, do a lot of certain things. So it's always that excitement of something new.
Right.
And when you have that moment of, it's just kind of like it can feel like you're just going through the motions or whatever. Do you think that God matures you in those moments where it's just kind of like still?
Yes. There's two parts to the answer. It's something about waiting and time that you really develop trust.
Yeah.
Because think about that thought or that idea, trust. And I see faith and trust as being different. I think they're related. I think that faith and trust are connected, but I don't think they're all the same. I mean, both are the same.
Yeah.
Faith comes by hearing. Okay, faith comes by hearing. So if God says, on the other side of that tightrope, I have this and I have that for you. So I know the steps I gotta take. But what I don't know is whether this tightrope will hold me. So faith came to me that there's a reward on the other side of the tightrope.
Yeah.
I got to walk across this tightrope to get to the other side to get to the reward.
Yeah.
So I got enough knowledge. Faith comes by hearing to walk across. I know God wants me to walk across. The trust comes in is, will he hold me up? Will he keep the tightrope from breaking?
Yeah.
And so faith now is working together with trust.
Yeah.
But I don't never trust until I walk. Because, see, I can stand on this side and say, you know, that tightrope will hold me because God said it. That tightrope will hold. But you don't trust until you get on it and begin to walk. And your obedience to walk proves God's faithfulness to keep you.
Yeah.
But you won't know if you don't obey. You won't know if you don't take a step. You won't know because God is not going to be faithful ahead of your obedience. No, your obedience proves his faithfulness. Now, he's faithful whether we walk across or not. But it gives proof to you that God is faithful if you walk across there.
That's the thing that God been showing me is that, isn't it a scripture that God is faithful to fulfill that which he promised? Is that a scripture or is that just kind of what people just say?
Is he what now?
Faithful to fulfill that which he promised.
That's scriptural.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things that I've been studying and kind of been reminded of in this journey. Learning, because we're talking about him maturing you spiritually. And for me, I've always heard that word faithfulness, but not really understood it fully. And I feel like that's one of the things that I feel like God is showing me, that he's faithful to fulfill his promise, and that you may not always have clarity on the next step. Why though? Because for me, I crave clarity. Why do you feel like we crave clarity so much? Do you think that comes from, like you said, control thing to take that step, or you just, because some people just feel like they don't want to miss God and do something wrong, or they feel like they want to get it right.
And so for that person, clarity means I won't be afraid. It means I will fully know.
Yeah.
Well, if I fully know before I obey, then that's really not faith and trust. That's really not trust.
Yeah.
Because see, what people want, when I say they want control, most people would love to control the outcomes.
Yeah.
God reserved the outcomes for himself. We want to control it, the outcomes. But God says, no, that's not your part. Your part is to hear, operate in the faith, and obey. That's your part. The outcome, God says, is my part. Keeping you on the tightrope is my part. Keeping the tightrope from breaking is my part. But it's our part to walk across it. And what we want the certainty that the tightrope will not break before I do anything.
There's a thing called faith and foolishness. How do you know, what does faith look like when you're walking in something that's unclear versus foolishness?
Faith is, I know, and I've taken the time to hear your will on the matter. I know what you want on the matter. I may not have acted on it. I may not have trusted you, but I know it. I know it. Presumption, which is really close to foolishness, is me doing something to make you do something. So I'm going to quit my job. You didn't tell me to quit my job, but I'm going to quit my job and you got to take care of me. That's foolishness.
Yeah.
Because I didn't tell you to do that. You chose to do that and going to make me do something that I didn't promise you.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't tell you to quit your job, I'm not obligated to take care of you if you do.
Yeah.
But to expect me to do something that I did not promise, that you made up in your mind that you wanted, then that's presumption, that's presuming that God is going to do something. It is foolishness because I can't make God do something by what I do. And that's what, when you don't have a revelation from God that is his will or his instruction or his mandate, and you do it because you think and you calling him your source, but you ain't listening to him on the front side.
Fix your mic for me. Push it over a little bit. Okay, so is there an area where right now that you currently feel kind of uncertain, but you're walking in faith in it?
Yes.
Do you mind sharing some?
Yeah. See, when God said to me, expect to counsel and mentor, that's an assignment. That's a mandate. Okay? And that's a whole different season. Okay? Over the years, I kind of learned about pastoring. You know what I mean? And I learned what works. I learned what does not work as a pastor. I learned what was required of me as a pastor. He said, a good pastor is an example to the flock. So I know the criteria. He's taught me how to do things. But then he says, in this season, now he didn't say in this season, but I'm just saying, he said, when I'm getting ready to transition out, expect to coach and mentor. Expect to do that. So that is going to be a big part of what you're doing. Now, he had all taught me to feed the flock, so I already got that as a purpose mandate that I got to teach God's people. But now he's saying, I expect you to coach and mentor. So when I started the mentor program for pastors, like I said in the other podcast, my goal is to mentor pastors, but then to have a mentor program for leaders in general, and then to have a school of leadership.
How do you stay patient? Because I feel like God is giving you some words that you've had for years.
Right.
How have you stayed patient, and how would you encourage us to stay patient?
The nature of my calling, because for years God called me a prophet. But you have to learn what that is. You know, it's not something you hear and bam, I'm a prophet, you know. No, you got to learn this calling, what it is, and your assignment in this calling, because all prophets are not the same. All prophets don't have the same assignment. So there's a learning that goes with that. And you transfer things that you learn as a pastor to this life. So to answer your question, how do you approach patience? Well, the nature of my calling, he gave definition a few years back that I was a seer. So a seer is a prophet that literally sees
Ahead. Okay.
far away, but also receives revelation through dreams and visions. So by nature, God will show me things that may be that will be decades out.
Okay.
Decades out. So time is a quality that you have to appreciate. Consistency is a quality that you have appreciate. So when I was pastoring, God said this to me. He says, discipling people takes time. So right away, as a pastor, I'm discipling the members in the flock through my preaching. It's a time thing. And then I keep a journal. So in my journal, I started recording in 1984 all the way up to 2026. Everything God says to me that I can remember, date, time, and all that. But several times he would talk about patience. In 1984, 85, it was real close to when I began. He said, in your patience, possess your soul. I didn't know that was in the Bible, but that's in the Bible. In your patience, possess your soul. But he did interpret it for me. Sometimes he don't interpret stuff like that. He said, control your thinking.
Wow.
So he was telling me, while this is happening, control your thinking, because it's going to take time. And then on several occasions, I got to the point where I didn't even want to hear it. He said, it will take patience. It takes patience in the things of God.
Wow.
Then on another occasion, he said, patience is a virtue.
Do you think when he said it takes patience in the things of God, do you think he was saying that specifically to you, or do you think that that's an overall thing?
I think both. I think he was speaking to me, but I was thinking he was speaking to every believer. It's going to take patience in the things of God. First the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. Mark 11. Mark 4, around verse 26 through 28, where he talks that parable. A man must sow seed in the ground. First the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. So for the most part, vision is established progressively.
Gotcha.
There's a blade stage, what I consider to me the foundational stage of anything, that you got to set a foundation. Foundation may be your preparation. Maybe you going to school. Maybe you learning about whatever you're getting ready to do. And then there's a blade, then there's a ear, then the full corn in the ear. So there are different stages, phases, and levels of a ministry. Phases, stages, levels. All that requires time. And so God's order, we talk about miracles and I believe them. We see them in the Bible.
Right.
Nothing wrong with believing for miracles. But that is not the rule. Because we read the Bible and we got 66 chapters, and we read the Bible and the gospel and we see a miracle, 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 miracle. So God is a miracle worker. But that is not the predominant way that he works in our lives, because think about it. Jesus did not function in ministry until he was 30. And then he worked 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? We know he showed up as a baby. Then 12 years later, he was found in the temple. And then 18 years, we have nothing.
Yeah.
Silence. We have absolutely nothing. But God was preparing Jesus those 18 years for the 3. So the periods where we think God is silent is not. To God. God is working. God is preparing us. God is preparing other people. He's preparing us to fulfill our assignment. And he don't talk with us every day about that.
Yeah. Let me ask you, okay, this is a personal question. We're getting off topic, but you brought it up.
That's all right. This is our podcast. This is my podcast. We can do what we want to do.
Okay, so I feel like I've always heard the Amos 9:13 and suddenly moment. I feel like I've always heard that growing up in church.
That what now?
The and suddenly.
Okay.
Amos 9:13. He'll do exceedingly.
Right, right.
And so I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like I've been hearing stuff, seeing stuff, the and suddenly. So how do I differentiate? Is that a thing that God is saying to me, or is it just something that I'm just kind of like? Does that make sense? Because I feel like I keep seeing it. Does that mean that it won't be a suddenly thing, or do I still just be patient in that? Because I feel like it's not a coincidence that I keep seeing it.
And it's not a coincidence. Here's how I would approach this. And I'm giving you principles. I'm not telling you God is saying this.
I got you.
I'm just giving you principles. If I knew God was giving me a word about, and suddenly I would start confessing it. I believe things are manifesting in my life suddenly.
Okay.
But I would balance that with growth, timing. What should I be doing now? What preparation do I need to do now?
Right.
And I would focus on the now and confess the unsettling. I focus on the now and I confess I focus on the now, prepare myself now, and have great expectation for suddenly. Because if God tell you there's going to be some things that's going to transpire quickly, to me that's what it is. Some things in your life are going to transpire quickly, and it's going to seem to you like it was that suddenly.
Just like that. Okay.
Okay, but at the same time, when you look back on it, you will see that God prepared you for years for the unsettling.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Second question. We having our own conversation. So the second question. We having
our own conversation. I'll throw the card away then.
The second question is, how did you know when God, because you're a seer, so that's a natural gift. That's one of the things that God has given you. How did you know the moments, because when you think about Joseph, he was a seer. How did you know in those moments the things that you're supposed to share and the things that you wasn't supposed to share?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. Usually, it is something you learn to do. And early, I was a big blabbermouth. I was a big blabbermouth because I didn't understand that God sometimes shows you things about your life, about others' lives, and about that. But in some cases, he wants you to pray about it. Other cases, he wants you to be prepared. It's inevitable. So he wants you to know that it's coming. And then when it comes to when it comes to your destiny, God don't want everybody to know it.
Yeah.
early. And he don't want the devil to know it early. So he'll show you things. You'll pray about it in the tongues about it. But enemies sometimes find out stuff, and he'll try to be blocking it and doing that. Some things, it's just about you got to release your faith and talk about it and bring it to pass, he'll hear it. But other things, and it took me a while to learn that. I read more, got some more information, made some mistakes talking about stuff that I shouldn't. So that's why my journal is off limits. Pete don't read my journal. I don't show my journal to anybody for several reasons. Number one, if you read my journal, some language is coded. I wrote it in code.
I got you.
Some language, you read it and you'll think this is what that mean. It wasn't that what it mean at all.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? And then some things you'll read and you'll say, well, this is what God's saying, and I don't even know what it's meaning. Because I'm praying about it. I don't know, but I recorded it, but I don't know what it really means.
Right.
But so you're going to look at it and give an interpretation that I don't even have.
Right.
You know, so the question you ask is, how do you know what to share and what not to share? And some of that you learn by experience. So it's better to not share things early. Not just don't share it. Pray about it. Just pray about it. You ain't got to share to nobody about it. Because some things is a timing issue. I got some stuff in my journal have not come to pass yet. I got some stuff that God showed me about people, but I can't share it.
Yeah.
I really can't share it. It will not help the situation for me to share it.
So why do you feel like he showed you?
Because that's what I'm called to do.
Okay.
That's my calling.
So you feel like you're called to effect change or to pray about the situation?
Both.
Okay.
And there's cases where I've shared with people what God showed me. And it was effective.
I got you.
For example, you may have heard this testimony. I saw a young lady, and 98 to 99% of what in my journal came while I was asleep. I saw a young teenage girl in a bathroom throwing up. I ain't see nothing that was impropriety or nothing like that. I just saw her bent over on her knee, throwing up in the commode. And I knew, and that's hard to tell how you'll know something, but I knew she was pregnant. And she was throwing up in the commode.
You knew after you woke up?
I knew by revelation she was pregnant. Well, that's what God was showing me.
Yeah.
And so I went to her many years ago, decades ago. I went to her and I asked her, are you fornicating? And the moment I asked her, tears started going down her eye. I guess because the preacher asking you, you get kind of scared. And she just started crying. And I said, are you fornicating? She said, yes, I am. And I said, well, the Lord showed me that if you keep doing that, you're going to get pregnant. Now, that was a revelation that could be stopped.
Yeah.
Some revelations God showed me, He is just preparatory. It's not something I can stop. He showed me when my dad died. I went to sleep and I saw in a night vision. It's like a dream, but it's real quick. So I call it a night vision, not a dream. And I saw this hospital desk. It was the hallway where they have the nurses at the desk, and the phone rang. And when when the phone rang, the nurse picked up the phone, and the nurse said, Noble Moore is dead. That next day, after I woke up, I cried and prayed all day. I cried and prayed all day. I just cried and prayed, cried and prayed, cried and prayed, prayed in tongues, and my dad died that night.
Yeah.
To me, that was preparatory. God spoke to me and said, she's old enough to die. My mama was in her 80s, and she said she's old enough to die. Well, she died several years later. So I saw Minister Connie, went to sleep, saw Minister Connie in that, we call it bistro, where the Fanny.
Tuscany.
Huh?
In Tuscany or the venue?
Which one is the venue?
That's what we do events and stuff. Where Mama had her hat, tea, and all of that.
It was the venue.
Okay.
I couldn't see the people, but I knew we were sitting, and I saw in the night vision, Connie got up, came in front of everybody, and said, "I'm retiring." Bam! It was over. I didn't say anything about it, but I knew he was going to retire soon.
Do you feel
several months he talked to me over his house and said, "Hey, little brother, I'm gonna be retiring." I said, "Connie, I already know it." He said, "How you know it?" I said, "I saw you do it."
Do you feel the weight and the pressure of having those dreams and visions? The reason why I asked that, because you had a dream about somebody who I was talking to, and they ain't believe you. Didn't you have a dream? You said you had a dream about the person who I was dating at that time.
I heard the Spirit of God said that
you heard sex addict, I thought.
Sexual addict.
And so do you feel pressure? And
I shared another thing with you too, the Lord said to me, but we won't go into that.
What?
About something you were dealing with.
Oh, yeah. You can share it. It don't matter to me. You can share it. It don't matter.
What did I say?
You asked me, was I thinking about suicide?
You asked me, was I thinking about suicide?
Yeah.
And see, I got that when I was asleep. That's an interesting question. I'm going to answer it, but why did you ask that question? You said, do it feel weighty?
I think because I was watching another prophet, and he was giving a prophetic word, and he was like, I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to say it, but this is what the word of the Lord is sharing for me to say. And I know sometimes you can get a word from the Lord that could be a preparing thing, and it could be a heavy word. And so I didn't know if you sometimes don't.
It can be very uncomfortable. It can be so uncomfortable. I don't want to sound like I don't want the Spirit of God to show me nothing. He know I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it could be like, dog.
And I think that's what the other prophet was saying. He was saying that it's weighty.
It can be like, I've been in a situation where I was thinking, was it good for me to know this?
Yeah.
But I know deep down inside God. I know the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
And I know that he never shows me anything when his motive is not good.
Right.
If motive is not good.
Right.
But sometimes it can be kind of heavy. And you pray about it, but it's so heavy. It's just heavy on you. And that's those moments where you be like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's very, I didn't even know that. He used to call me a prophet from the very beginning of my ministry. He used to call me that, but I didn't know what that was. I really didn't. I knew I was called to be the pastor of the church. I'm going to do my best to pastor the church. But when he said seer, then I started studying and looking it up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it made sense to me that in the beginning I saw things. I would see things about people in the church. God spoke to me about a person and say he's gay. And I was thinking, I was just like this, for real?
Yeah.
I said, for real? Because I didn't pick it up. And so I went to him and I said that the Spirit of God showed me that you're gay. are you struggling with that?
Yeah.
And he admitted it. And so I was able to counsel him and stuff like that. And as far as I know, he got delivered, you know, as far as I know that he got delivered and stuff like that. So that happened all during my pastoring, when I was pastoring. I would see things, I would know things. That's how I knew how the church was going to be 3,000 seats. Because he said it, comfortable seat 3,000 seats.
So for our audience who is listening, we talked about what does faith look like when you don't know the next step. For the person who is watching and they're looking to get clarity, but they don't have any clarity, what advice or wisdom would you give them for walking in faith without the clarity?
Okay, I would say to that person that's common. At this point, I am walking, doing what I know to do, but I don't have all the steps laid out. I never had all the steps laid out when I was pastoring. I never saw the dome. I never thought we would do a dome. I didn't know anything about the homeless. I never thought we were going to be involved with homelessness. But what do you know to do now? And if you don't know what to do now, then take the time to pray about what's the next step. Because here's the beauty of the question and the beauty of this kind of thinking and discovery and understanding is God intentionally don't show you the whole picture. It's intentional because he wants you to take steps of obedience without clarity. Because when you take steps of obedience without full information, full clarity, it forces you to have to trust him. That he's going to keep, and that's what he wants. God wants us to trust him, that he's good and that he's faithful and that he have our best interests at heart and that he's committed to never leave us nor forsake us. So a lot of times when people say he's not talking, he is, we just not listening. We're not spending enough time to listen. And then if we spend time to listen, he ain't going to give you the whole picture because he wants you to walk by faith and he wants you to trust that he'll keep you. So I was telling a member, one of my spiritual daughters this Sunday, I said it's like an onion. I'm peeling an onion. Destiny can be like peeling. It's got the layers to it. And you pull back and you get another layer. So when you pull you slice in the onion. If you pull it's got layers to it. Eat the layers that you pull off. Don't get so caught up in the layers that's not separated yet. Eat the layers that you know. All I've ever done in ministry is take the next step. That's all I've ever done. I've never had the full picture. I wanted it, but I've never had complete clarity, all the answers, all the people, understanding who's going to help me. I've never had that. Where the money going to come from? I never had none of that. It was always, what has God said? Okay, God said. He had no definition to it. He had no definition. He said, expect a coach and mentor. Okay? So I take a step. You know what I mean? I put together a mentoring program. I know it's bigger, see, because everything he tells me, when he said dome, it was much bigger. I know it's bigger, but okay, I can put something together and I can learn and try to mentor and coach. You see, I'm learning. That's how I learned to pastor. I was taking steps. That's all I was doing. I was taking steps. I didn't have the full picture. I didn't know all the stuff about counseling and coaching and developing leaders, casting vision. I ain't know nothing about that. I just would take that next step that I knew I got to take it. And then clarity came as I take the steps. More and more clarity came as I took the step. Then I take another step, then more clarity come. And there's a proof text for that in Hebrews 11:8, it says Abraham, when he was called to go out to the place that he would receive an inheritance, it says he obeyed, not knowing where he was going. Now watch this. He obeyed, not knowing where he was going. Now there are two things in juxtaposition. He was called to go out, so he know he got to leave.
Yeah.
He was called to go out, so he know he got to leave.
Yeah.
He was called to a place that he was going to receive an inheritance. He know he going to receive an inheritance there, but he obeyed. He obeyed what? He obeyed leave. He obeyed leave. And then it says not knowing where he was going implies the full picture was not given, but enough to start.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people think that when God says, I want you to leave your family, leave you this, leave you this, leave you this, and leave this to a place and I'll show you. They think God told him Canaan land is going to be flowing with milk and honey. And, you're going to have these people going to help you and you're going to... God didn't show him that.
Yeah.
I promise you, what God showed Abraham was leave. You got to get out of this place. You got to leave these folk. You got to leave this region. That's all he had. Now watch this. So he don't have none of this other clarity. He just got to leave.
Yeah.
So he go to his dad and say... Because his dad is patriarchal leader. Go to his dad and say, I got to leave. And dad said, where you going? Isn't that an obvious question? He said, I don't know. Well, why are you leaving? Well, God told me to leave.
Yeah.
He didn't know until he left.
Yeah.
Then when he left, God gave him more information. That's huge. If people get that, that's huge. That's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever done.
Take the first step.
That's all I've ever done is take the first step.
Yeah.
Get his heart, dome. That's all I heard. One word, dome. I ain't have nothing else. And then we start looking up domes, researching domes. Now I'm taking the first step.
Yeah. I love that. So as we end the month of July and you go into August, whether you are starting back in school, if your kids are starting back to school, we hope that this message, if you're not sure of what the next step is, what faith will look like for you. And one of the ways is just take the next step that God told you to take.
It's to take the time to pray.
Yeah.
Ask him what's the next step, and then just take that.
Yeah. Well, we got, again, when we do these conversations, we know that they are kind of lengthy, so you may not have gotten everything the first time, but you can always come back and join us again for another time. You can just rewatch it, and you always learn something new. As always, we want you to be a part of our family, so you can subscribe to this channel, Mike Moore Ministries. Love to have you be a part of it. And yeah. And
then put it in the chat if you want to ask us a question, because in our last podcast we were talking about emotional thing, and you said, what about marriage? And I never did get to marriage.
Oh, you did?
No, I talked about singleness. And you said, ooh, I didn't know we were going to get that deep in it. But I never said that what you do in your single life can follow you in your marriage.
You want to talk about it, or you want to wait to do another podcast? You can talk about it. Talk about it. Go ahead.
No, you said that we have for 30 minutes.
You good. You got 10 minutes. Go.
Well, the patterns, I said that you cannot have all these options and have integrity. And you said about marriage. I didn't get to it. I said, well, once you get married, you've established a pattern of tasting this, tasting this, tasting this, tasting this, tasting this. Sometimes after you get married, you done got tired. Now you got married. You still got all these images of all the ones you done tasted.
Mm-hmm.
Now you with your wife.
Mm.
And sometimes it's difficult for her to satisfy you.
Mm. Yeah.
Because you want her to look like Patricia,
Mm-hmm.
and you want her to act like Destiny,
Mm-hmm.
and you want her to do all that, but she's not all these folk you were tasting.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have problems once they get married, and then sometimes they can get married, but they train their flesh to taste different things. So sometimes they can end up being unfaithful in marriage. Or if not, because I know you say, well, I did it and I didn't have no problem. Look at your daughter. Look at your daughter. Maybe sometimes what you sold can go into your family.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now other folk treating your daughter the way you did. You sold and didn't break that thing. You didn't break that. And so now you got a soul tie over here and you don't understand what's going on, but you didn't break that soul tie. So you done pull something, they call that a generational curse. Now I know Christ has redeemed us, but you got to mix faith with that. That's not automatic. You got to believe that you're redeemed from that curse or that thing will follow you in there. Oh, that's all I got to say about that.
So we're going to link the last episode. It'll be in the corner somewhere. We'll link the video to that so you can just click on that link and you can watch the corresponding answer to what we asked in the last session.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will see y'all next time.
All right.